Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. My name's Ryan and I'm going to be hosting and doing everything on this video. It's just me reacting to Everton's 4-0 defeat at Old Trafford. Now, where the hell do we start with it? It's like nothing's changed. Continuation of the back end of last season. The players seem to be a level behind Man United before they even start, and there doesn't seem to be any signs of optimism at this stage. I mean, where do we start with this? I think this game is really going to knock the confidence of the players going into next week, because it is Premier League opposition and they're considered a rival. So I think it's very unhelpful to go to Old Trafford and lose 4-0 and in the manner that they did do. If you're joining us, be sure to like the video and subscribe over on YouTube at Follow Everton. I'm going to be going through all the comments, so please join me and share your opinion. What did you think of the game today? Do you think Everton should have done better, or do you think United were just a level above? So where do we start? The team. Gabamin was injured, of course. Calvert-Lewin, foot knock, and a few of the others. Gomez, as a precaution, was out. Richarlison was playing in the Olympics and missing a penalty for Brazil. And in terms of the lineup, it was kind of as you would expect in general, apart from the lack of a recognised striker. And I think this Everton team needs a focal point. There isn't really any goals up there. You know, you look at that starting 11, Iwobi, Gray, Townsend. There's no goals. That, you know, they're not players who score a lot of goals. And then you look at the midfield, Decore and Allen, and you think, how the hell are we going to score? There's nothing there. I think so. At that point, it does become more of a fitness exercise. And yeah, we go into the game and we start off okay. And it's only a matter of time before Pickford, who's fresh back from, you know, his holiday, does a Jordan Pickford thing. And he just fails to pick up a really simple header back. It's almost like he's overeager and he's just not calm, and he fluffs it, and it costs us a goal, costs us an unnecessary goal. And I think as a goalkeeper, you've got to be the player in the team who's got the most composure, who's the most calm and the most level-headed. And you know, the problem I've got with Jordan Pickford is he doesn't have that. He's just not a calm character. It's just not in his nature. I think Basil's going to be joining us on this video in a few moments. He's just asking me to send him the link. If you're watching, Basil, I've sent you. I'm just about to send you it now. So guys, bear with us 1 second while I just try and get Basil involved. Basil, I've sent you it. Come and join on the video. So yeah, Pickford straight back, and he just looked very erratic all over the place. His kicking was horrendous, and it was a really simple back pass into him, and he fluffs it, and there you go. You're 1-0 down very quickly into the game, and it's hard to see Everton scoring really with those players we've mentioned, and you're putting yourself on such a back foot when you've got players making individual errors, and you almost can't account for that as a manager. You know, that's not Rafa Benitez's fault. That's Jordan Pickford. He is a player who makes a lot of mistakes and a lot of errors. And thank God it's in pre-season, but I can assure you there'll be plenty of those errors this season. And for me, I'm going to take out of the game, and I still think I'd have Asmir Begovic playing next week. I think he's looking more sharper. We'll go on to the fourth goal in a minute. Could he have done better? But for me, we need a calm head in defence, and I think Everton were neat. They moved the ball relatively well, but Man United overwhelmed us in midfield, and they cut through our midfield so easily. And I think we were just off the pace, you know, in that first half in general. And Josh Townsend, in particular, you know, not involved in the game. Decore and Allen were being bypassed in midfield, and you know, coming out into areas that we didn't want them to go into. And on the left, it was sort of like a James Rodriguez and Damari Gray rotating positions. It wasn't quite clear what they were doing, but James was more or less anonymous. He was slowing the game down, taking too many touches and getting swarmed really. And Gray, I thought, was okay. He was the better of the players on the pitch. It certainly in that front four. I know there's 40 of you watching. Come and bring the comments. I'm going to bring them in as soon as I can. Everton trash, yeah, absolutely. And Gavin's saying, anyone worried? Because I am. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? Really, we've not seen any signings that are going to inspire us at the moment into thinking things are going to change, really. But bear in mind, Calvert-Lewin's going to come back hopefully next week. Richarlison will be a couple of weeks away, and Moise Keane. So there's three players, arguably, that go straight into the team and give you so much more of a goal threat. But we do need some signings. I know there's some idiot comments coming in. Agent Rafa getting the blue scum comment relegated. Right? Okay, thanks. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. But going back to the game, the second goal. I mean, there was that many goals. It's hard to remember who scored the second goal now. But I think it was it the Maguire from the corner? Basil, are you ready? I'll bring you in. He's coming in the background. He's not quite ready. He's there. He's doing something. He's not put his camera on. He's coming in. We're just going to wait for him for 1 minute because I want to get him straight in. Yeah, it was the Maguire corner. And I noticed from an earlier corner in the game that Luca Dean was marking him, and I thought that was a bit of a mismatch. If you're going to man mark someone, put the player who's most suited to marking him. And for me, that would be Michael Keane. But instead, Luca Dean, and obviously we got punished from that set piece, the second corner where he was marking him, and he was nowhere near. And Godfrey, who's zonal marking and kind of marking no one actually doing anything, he's trying to come out in vain, and it was all a bit of a mess. And for me, that is Rafa Benitez. You know, he's told the players, you mark you, and you know that's your role. And to tell Dean to mark Maguire was a mistake. And you know that's a mistake Rafa Benitez will have to take accountability for. But even in that moment, I think you've still got players there who could, they're meant to be zonally marking, and it's a worry that we're conceding goals in that nature already. Set pieces and individual errors. David, give me a thumbs up in the background if you're ready to come in. Hi, Dave.
What was that?
I just said, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to come in. I mean, I'm just talking about the Maguire goal. Luca Dean is a small 5'10" fullback, and he's marking 6'3" Maguire, who's an absolute powerhouse. That's poor setup, isn't it? From Rafa and the coaching team and the tactical staff.
Yeah, it's not very professional, is it? I mean, we've seen Maguire through the Euros. He's very dominant in the air, and basically their key man in the box, and we don't mark him. Well, obviously we're employing this zonal tactics, and that's what Benitez wants to do, but it's going to have to be looked at, and it's better that we see it now than it comes out in a game that matters, really.
Tommy, Gavin, Kevin, Steve, I am aware of your comments. Keep them coming in. I'm going to bring them in when it's necessary. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube or wherever you're watching. And Jeannie, hi mate. In my opinion, the first goal was Pickford, a lack of sharpness, or is that just a trait he's ingrained in? Mistakes and erratic behaviour. You there?
Sorry, I've got Richarlison. He's celebrating something on the other side. They're playing I think they've won it. But sorry, Pickford, you're saying he's a liability, weren't you?
Yeah, he's a bit of a joke, to be honest. I've never really backed him throughout the Euros, but I just think a spade is a spade, a turd is a turd. He's got that ingrained in him. I don't think he's ever going to be that calm influence you need in a defence, especially one that going for Europe. I mean, I maybe I'm knee jerk, but it's just because he's done it that many times now, and you forget how many times, but there's dozens. And the goals, those first two goals, completely avoidable. But the third one, you as soon as Fernandes is over that free kick, you're thinking, oh God, this is going to go in.
It's the distance, isn't it? You're looking at it, you see the distance, you think that's perfect range for him on a free kick. You're thinking there's no pressure on him either because it's not really counting for anything. So his quality is going to come out and it did. You know, how can he save it? I'm looking at Pickford in the goal. I'm thinking he's not chosen a side really. He's standing quite central. He knows Bruno's got quality, so he doesn't want to trust a wall. And it's like, well, he couldn't save it, could he? Really, it was just too a piece of quality that. But yeah, if Begovic is in there, can he save it? I don't know. Probably not. Still, so.
I think a 6'5" goalkeeper immediately has a much more of an advantage when it comes to that, and I expect Pickford to not save it if it was on target, because he did similar in Euros. And yeah, the commentary team were going on about how good a free kick it was, but it wasn't that close. And
Power.
I just think, you know, he is what he is as a goalkeeper. I'm not taking away anything from the strike, because it was a fantastic free kick, but I just feel like we're going to be repeating a lot of the same things we talked about last season, because these players are not just going to suddenly improve. And
it looks like it. I mean, you got to look beyond the free kick. So what was happening at the time? Well, we were 2-0 down. The damage was already done. Why are we conceding the free kick? Well, we were getting outrun. We were getting out physical, out possession. You look at when we played Man U last season, we were very much a class below them in terms of our physical output, not just the quality. We were outrun at times. I know games in the Carabao Cup, we were outrun in that first half when we lost that quarter-final, sorry. You know, they seem to have a physical edge on us, so we're getting outrun and we concede a free kick. So I don't know. The game was over.
It's too slow. I mean, Toure was a revelation for us last season. I mean, towards the end of the season when he got injured, it was a real big mess for us. But he's just a player, you know. He kind of gets the ball and he doesn't really know what to do with it in terms of on the transition or in terms of his playmaking ability. And then I don't think he is an elite defensive midfielder. And then Alan is just, I don't think for me he didn't look fit. So they've got a lot of work to do ahead of next week, you know, in that midfield. We're getting passed around, and most teams in the league are quicker than us, and we're going to be repeating ourselves a lot.
I wonder why Decore was the one who got taken off, really. I mean, maybe he thinks he's got the energy in him, he'll just be able to play next week anyway. Maybe we're still crying out for Gbamin. I was really hoping Gbamin would get some time against that level of opposition, see if he could, you know, put his fitness to the test against that level of opposition. And obviously he's picked up a knock or something. But I think the whole game is really, it's difficult to judge, because you put Richarlison, you put Calvert-Lewin in, and it's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? When you play without a striker,
I know what you're saying. Still no penetration if you put them to it. They're just going to get on the end of things. You've got.
It's a whole different game, because United can press us right in like they did. We got no out ball going up, so you just, the ball just ends up back with the defenders coming back at you. So you know, it's a total different tactics.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of you watching. We've had up to 50 people watching live. That's amazing for the channel, because we're still a really baby channel. Give us a thumbs up, please, whatever team you support. It means a lot. And subscribe on YouTube. We're going for 500 subscribers. Hopefully, that's what we're aiming for. So please give us a subscribe and give us a thumbs up. It's really good to have so many watching. Should we go to the comments, because we've talked about the first 3 goals. We'll come on to some more of the things. I know we're not going to keep this video going on too long, because Basil is doing a video tomorrow night looking back with Mabsy and Stevie on the game and looking ahead to next week and what we can take from this fixture. But just in terms of immediate reflection and some of these comments, I'm reading the good and the bad. You guys are trash. Thanks for that. Some things never change, from Steve Chapman. Hi, Steve. Kevin saying, blame the board. We spent 1.5 million, have no right back. My answer to this is we've only got one left back as well, really. And Kunku. So it's the same problem. So is Coleman the first choice right back? Or is he?
Kevin's saying that we don't have a right back. He doesn't deem Coleman or Kenny to be first choice, whereas at least on the other side we have a quality left back. From what I saw today, Coleman, you know, he can play. Exactly. Coleman can play 15, 20 games at a decent level, but he will also play probably 10, 15 games if he's forced to play those extra games at a poor level. We need another right back with quality. And really, John Joe Kenny, I was I don't really rate him that highly, but I kind of wanted to see him come on earlier and see if he's any good against.
He's not.
We haven't seen him.
I'm sorry. He's the same as he always was. Did you see that shot at the end where he hit it with his left foot and the commentators great tackle, try and bail him out? He's just Tony Hibbert Mark too, but
he's not there to shoot. He's Townsend's there to shoot, and he hits it straight down the middle. And
well, we'll come on to the second half. We'll talk about the right back. I don't think Coleman had a bad game apart from nearly getting sent off. Thought it was okay. And you do make a good observation. He's good for 10 to 15 games, maybe 20 games, but he needs more support. And to be honest, I think Kenny is a decent little footballer, but he's not for a team going for the top 6. If he wasn't an Evertonian, he would have been long gone. Gavin saying Pickford will always be a liability. Keane is rubbish. Coleman to old. Let's give him a new contract. Townsend shit. Alan getting worse and aging. Iwobi shite.
Iwobi's no good, is he? Really? We know that, but
he's the best player in the second half.
Really? He's chasing shadows. He doesn't know what to do. Everything he tries, it just like bounces.
I'm not saying he's great, David, but he was the best of a bad bunch in the second half. He made things happen. He played on the last man. He was trying. I liked that about him. I thought I've criticised him, but where I'm going to give credit, I'm going to give credit. The Pickford thing, okay. Keane, we know what we're getting with him. He's a block it, hit it, new fit defender, and Coleman needs some support. Townsend's one. We're going to have to give him a chance. He was anonymous in that first half, wasn't he? But
useless. Really. I'll be patient, a bit more patient with him, but he didn't offer very much.
Wow, we're up to 55 people watching live. That's brilliant. I don't think
55 angry Evertonians.
No, we've probably got 57. We've probably got some United fans and some Liverpool fans watching. You know what it's like. I do want to come. I think we should talk about the second half first. We're up to 61. That's fantastic. Let's talk about the second half and then come back to the comments. I'm sorry, I know there's loads of comments coming in. He made a lot of changes in the second half. James Rodriguez, the first to come off.
No surprise there then.
His fitness is poor. He tries, but he does tend to slow the game down too much in that transition and lack of legs. Do you think I look at someone like Juan Mata, who also came on in that second half and thought he was far more effective, and he's just slow and
just frozen up a bit. I think James he could be an asset to us, especially at home, where we've got a bit more possession of the ball and we're not like playing off scraps. When we're away, we're playing off scraps and they've got all the possession and he just gets bypassed. He just looks like a bystander, really. So it's no surprise he was taken off. But he's got to have a centre forward to run in behind or a target man to play crosses in. Where is he meant to pass the ball to? You could see he was looking up for players and he played that one chipped ball over the top, which went to nobody, and he put his hands up and he was a bit like, well, there's just nobody to kind of aim for, It's difficult. So, it's no surprise he got taken off at halftime. We made a few changes, didn't we? They kept changing it up in the second half. It's very difficult to judge the second half with the amount of changes both sides were making, really.
I know. Obviously, it would have been nice to have seen Gabamon and Gomez come on and Moise Keane, but obviously they weren't there. And instead, we were treated to John Joe Canny coming on and Tom Davis, and they look the same as they always have done. It's not like I'm not turning around thinking these players have looked reborn in pre-season. They're still Tom Davis. It's still John Joe Canny. It's still, I almost forget who's playing because they don't do enough for me to really inspire me. Anthony Gordon was another one who came on, but he was anonymous. And I think there was 15 minutes after that second half where we didn't really do an awful lot. We didn't really look under trouble, but substitutions didn't really offer us anything, I don't think. And then that last 30 minutes, I thought we had some chances. The Townsend one that hit the crossbar, desperately unlucky. It's almost like you're trying too hard to just make sure it goes in, and you just hope he gets a bit more luck. And I think there was some opportunities. Iwobi flashing it across the face of goal, and Gray looking sharp and flashing it across, and just missing that focal point and that centre forward. And I think we could have got a couple of goals on another day, and arguably a penalty in that second half at the end where Davis is clearly taken out.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been anything, couldn't it? It could have been 6-3 or something. It could have been 3-2 or 3-all. It could have been 1-all. You know, it's just a game, isn't it? And it just ends up the way it's gone. You know, we're giving away too many cheap goals, really. I mean, that fourth goal right at the end is so cheap.
Yeah, do you want to talk me through? I mean, I kind of
Switched
looked
it
away
off.
at that point, set up the stream, yeah, and then
I just
wrestling
remember
in the back of the net.
it's just a ball that gets flicked over. I can't remember the exact details, but United player crosses it in. Who even scored? Who scored it? Somebody got his head on it.
Diego Dalot or something.
Yeah, he's playing it right back, and he gets in the box. Mina's just looking, doesn't go for it, and he heads it over Begovic. Very
Kind of
shambolic.
lost him. So Begovic's positioning is wrong, and Mina's getting out jumped by someone.
It was in the corner, but it's not looking promising based on that. But I think we have to put it aside a little bit. It's not good for our confidence moving into next week. But I think with it being a whole different start in terms of the fans being there on our side, being at Goodison for the first time, I think we'll be able to put a certain degree of that aside. Whether nerves will then get the better of us is a different question, and the pressure that will come with that, you know, we'll have to see. But we have to be more solid than we were. I mean, we didn't look that poor defensively at times. We looked okay defensively, and it was more up front. We lacked the cutting edge, but we still managed to concede 4 goals. So it obviously tells you there's something not right.
Dave, I'm going to be honest with you and say that, you know, I think even if Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison are playing in that game, yeah, you've got maybe the goals, a couple of goals, you've got the end product up front, but you can't win football matches when you have Pickford making individual errors, managers setting up players wrong from set pieces, and a goalkeeper who's inept from shots outside the box. I think you're on a back foot, and then the fourth one is just a lack of sharpness and just poor, really. I mean, Mina's just too soft, and I still question, like, they haven't gelled together. They're not a group. They've never really gelled, and they've never really inspired anyone. And they're just a disliked bunch of players. I don't feel like I look through them and go, you know, when I grew up and looked at Everton teams with Cahill and Arteta and Pienaar and even before that, Lee Carsley's and Graversons, you feel a bit more of a connection to them. And you know they weren't the best, and we've had some terrible seasons, you know, in the Premier League era, but you felt more of a connection to them. And this bunch are just a bunch of mingers. And I don't feel anything. And there's even like Sigurdsson, who's obviously he's gone. And so we're down Sigurdsson, we're down Keane, we're down Calvert-Lewin, we're down Richarlison. So there's 4 players. We don't know whether one of them's going to come back but we're down a lot of players, and the players coming in shite. And I look at the United bench and the reserves, and most of them would play for us. They'd start for us because the squad depth they've got is ridiculous. And look at City, look at Chelsea. You know, look at they've all got squads. We've got 11 decent players and not much else.
I just want to say congratulations to Richarlison. He's just won the gold medal at the Olympics, which hopefully will be positive for us this season. But yeah, as you say, we could nick some of their players, couldn't we? Really, you know, because we can't sign any players, but the quality United have in depth, that they won't be able to afford to give them all minutes. Someone like Lingard or someone, you know, even a Dan James would offer something off the bench for us. So that's not looking good, is it?
That's it. We need a right back. We need
it concerns me that you know, our rivals for where we're looking, you know, top 7, Spurs, Arsenal. Who've they signed? Arsenal have signed Ben White, 50 million statement of intent. Spurs have just signed for 47 million, I think. He's a very good-looking centre back, Romero. You know, he's just had a very good season. You know, we're spending 1.5. So are we standing still, whereas other teams are moving forward?
Worse. We've got rid of players. We've freed up wages. I imagine there's money there. I think we're just taking the piss. Get the Dumfries deal over the line. Get a midfielder in who's got some movement and a bit more of a leader, and get another forward. I still feel worried. But I think when Calvert-Lewin comes back in and you can build around these target men, we'll do okay. But Villa, they lost Grealish and they signed 3 players. I'd have had Danny Ings in a heartbeat. I'd have had Leon Bailey, and I probably would. Yeah, I would have had Buendía. So I just think we're going to struggle. But let's also not overreact, because we're in the moment of the emotion of it, and it's still wound up. You know, it's a preseason friendly. It is for fitness, and next week could be totally different. And I expect Everton to beat Southampton comfortably with the fans there, and maybe not if we don't have a striker back. But I do think you know, it is preseason, and you can take as much from it as you want, or as little.
I think we're going to have to be a bit careful in our expectations for the first couple of games. It looks like most teams haven't really got their players back from the tournament. They've only just come back from the relative tournaments this summer. So nobody's really going to be up to speed. But if we're missing basically the strike force, you know, it's going to be difficult to win matches without scoring goals. And it's going to be built on a solid defensive display. And next week, the impact of the fans.
I'm just coming back into the comments now. I've got a lot of people watching. I don't know how many are Blues. We've got 15 thumbs up. Can't be that happy about the result. Tommy's saying awful from back to front. Jeannie's saying we are a creek without a paddle. Very poor team. Worse than ever. Really annoying to watch. With a love heart. And this Copite saying in Rafa we trust, which was always going to happen the minute things didn't start to go well, which is inevitable, because I don't think we're going to hit the ground running as per se, but I think we'll win next week. But I think it's not going to be an easy ride. Brazil won, yeah. I give it starts for me. What do you think to that one? Would you just?
I think we'll probably discuss that quite a bit tomorrow, but
okay, let's leave that for tomorrow. Tune back in tomorrow if you want to know the answer to that. Armed. Pickford is least of our problems. Poor Sarr, no one on the bench to make a difference. Yeah. I'm ignoring the Man United fan who said glory, glory. We won't be far going down. There's a lot of people with that sort of assumption, isn't there, at the moment? You know, this isn't a great team. We're neither a pressing team or a team that drops off and plays a low block and just counter-attack. We don't know what we are. We don't know what we're going to be. We've got to give it time, but not a lot of inspiration. Alan is too slow. We needed in the midfield to play with Decore. Gabamin, is he going to stay fit, though? He's already injured. Why did he not put one of the youngsters on from the start if we were going to get trashed? Can to agree with that. And Gavin's responding to this fan who said, glory, glory, Man U. He's coming back in and saying, City, the best team in Manchester. Gavin's saying, would you sell Richarlison, use the cash? What do you think?
I think it's too late now, because there's only a week before the season starts. And once you sell a player like that, everyone knows you've got 60, 70 million to spend, and they're not going to give you anything on the cheap.
You've got to sign them first. JF, give us a subscribe if you haven't already. He says Marcel Brands 3 years. I agree. I know what he's trying to say there. We'll save a lot of things to go into tomorrow. Lee's saying, why didn't he put one of the youngsters up front from the start? Dobbin looked bright, didn't he, when he came on? Dobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dobby and Broadband. Dobby and Broadband up front.
I'd like to have seen them
play for a season. They're not going to play. Broadband will go on loan, and Dobbin will be with the under-23s. Gavin says he came from Dutch football. He's got no good players from that league. That's a good point. We haven't signed anyone from that league. Well, that's the Dumfries thing. Here's a United fan. Thanks for joining. A sensible United fan saying, you guys shouldn't worry because you had 2 important strikers missing, and DCL and Richarlison. You won't be playing teams like us each week. I know, but we played you 3 times last season, and we lost twice. I think they were narrow, and then you counter-attacked us and got a 3rd goal in each game, and then it was a 3-3 at Old Trafford. We were not really in it then, and you've improved. You signed Sancho and Varane, and we've signed.
Yeah, the gap's definitely got wider in that regard.
Yeah, the gap's got wider. A Leicester fan saying, playing Gray, what do you expect? Do you not rate him then?
Sad thing is, I thought he was one of our better players going forward, and he actually looked like someone with a bit of pace and a bit of desire, and I think that'll come in quite useful.
I want to know what the situation with the Sigurdsson is. Is he being sacked by the club then?
Yeah, I think they need to say something now. It's coming up to the start of the season. We're crying out for players. You know, he would have played up front today. So
He's terrible though. He'll score a few goals and get assists.
He's got an end product though. He's got an end product. He's got more than Iwobi would have had going in the box.
I know. You're probably right, Dave. Listen, I know there's still quite a lot of you watching, but we're going to wrap things up because we are doing another video tomorrow. I'm not going to be on the video. I'm working, but Basil, who's to my right, he's to my right. He's going to be hosting with Stevie and Madsy, hopefully, and I think that's going to be at 5 o'clock. So pencil. Is it 5? What time are you doing that tomorrow? Is it 7?
I'm not sure, to be honest. It's late afternoon.
Sometimes between 5 and 7.
We'll post an announcement.
Yeah, sorry we can't be more specific, but yeah, they'll do a proper in-depth report and look ahead to next week on what we can take out of the whole preseason and this and where we need to go from there. Do you think that sounds like a plan?
Yeah.
Are you coming to Harry Barber now?
I know it needs cutting, doesn't it?
I'm off to get mine done. Guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Please give us a thumbs up. I want to see a couple more thumbs up before I end the video. Come on, couple more thumbs up wherever you're watching. Thank you. And give us a subscribe. How many are we on now, Dave? Should we have a look? Let's have a look how many we've got to. We must have got a couple more on this video, surely. There's been 50 people watching throughout. Come on, someone give us a subscribe. Someone's got to subscribe to this. Right, we're calling it a day. We've got 50. The numbers are going back up. We need to go. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next video.